Algebra 1, we have 7.2 today, so we're going to be multiplying polynomials. A polynomial is just like an expression that has more than one term, right? So we're going to take 2x times everything inside the parentheses, so there's an imaginary multiplication sign right here. So we're going to take 2x times this first term, and then times the second term, and then times the last term, right? So we have 2x times 3x squared. So we're going to multiply all the numbers together and then all the variables together. So what is 2 times 3? 6. X times x squared. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 on that exponent right there. So how many x's do we have? We have 1 right here, 2 right here. We're going to add the exponents. 1 plus 2. So we have x to the third. Again, we're going to multiply that 2x times a negative 4x. The sign goes with it. So a positive times a negative is a negative. 2 times 4 is 8. And how many x's do we have? 1, 1, we have 2. X times x is x squared. Lastly, 2x times a positive 7. A positive times a positive is a positive. And 2 times 7 is 14. Okay. The notes are also on PowerSchool if you need to follow along that way. Moving on. We have negative 2a squared b, so this is one term right here, and we're going to multiply it by everything in the parentheses. So a negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 8 is 16. We have a squared and no other a's over here, so we just have a squared. And then we have b times b squared, that is b to the third. Okay? So we've multiplied in here. Now we're multiplying to negative 7b. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 7 is 14. We have a squared. And b times b is b squared. Okay, so we're just kind of combining those like terms, multiplying. So we're adding the exponents. Lastly, we are multiplying in negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 25 is 50. A squared, nothing over there, so we still have a squared. B times nothing over there is just b. Okay. So again, our answers are really big, but we can just break it down into multiplying numbers together and then variables together. And lastly, we are multiplying 2 terms here times 3 terms over here. So we're going to have to do this twice. So we're going to start with a negative 3x first. Negative times a positive is a negative. 3 times, there's an imaginary 1 in front of that x, right? So 3 times 1 is 3. How many x's do we have? 4. 1 right here, 3 over here, 1 plus 3 is 4. We're going to distribute that negative 3x again. So a negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times imaginary 1 is 3. How many x's do we have? 2, so 3x squared. And then we have negative 3x times a positive 4. A negative times a positive is a negative. 3 times 4 is 12, and we have that x. Okay, so we're halfway done. We've taken care of the negative 3x. Now we need to move on to this positive 4. So we have 4 times x cubed. That's 4x cubed. We also have 4 times negative x. That's going to be minus 4x. And then 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so we have this really long equation. We want to write it in a simpler form, right? We need to combine our like terms. So we have no other x to the fourth over here, right? So this is the only x to the fourth we have, so we're going to keep that the same, and we can forget about it. What's our next highest exponent? We have plus 4x cubed. We have no other x cubed, so we're going to write plus 4x cubed. And we're going in this order because we want to go from the highest exponent all the way to the lowest exponent. Do we have any other x squareds to combine it with? Nope, so we're just going to write plus 3x squared. Taking care of that. We have negative 12x and negative 4x. Well, what is negative 12 minus 4? When you subtract from a negative, you get a bigger negative. So we have minus 16x. We've taken care of those. And now we have this plus 16 all by itself. And we have combined our like terms into the standard form, into a simpler form.